In this video, we're going to take a look at how to program Morningstar products using the MSView software, which is a free download from the Morningstar website. MSView software includes setup wizards for several products, and you can use these setup wizards to create custom settings and also adjust many basic settings according to your needs. Here's a list of links that are relevant for making a connection using MSView. And then here's a link at the bottom which will be used to download the MSView software for free from the website. See all these links please in the YouTube description section. So there are several reasons why people want to go in and create custom settings for their particular Morningstar product. One of the main things is the charging algorithm. The factory presets are mostly going to operate in several battery types, but there are going to be times when people want to optimize them or use preferred settings. This could be extending the absorption time or changing the voltage slightly here and there. All the settings are custom programmable, completely independent of each other, so that's really nice for people that really want to get in there and adjust for a particular environment or a particular load or battery size. This can be very helpful. Along with that, there may be the need to go to a different nominal battery voltages. The Morningstar products come with presets for 12, 24, 48 volts. So for example, if they want to go to 36 volts with a TriStar MPPT, they can use the custom settings to get that voltage. Many people also want to use Morningstar products with other types of batteries, such as lithium-ion, aqueon, nickel-cadmium, etc. This is fine. Morningstar products can be adjusted with all the set points and a wide array of options with that custom setting adjustments. So every setting can be adjusted and used to be optimized with these other types of batteries. We're getting ready to create a new web page regarding different battery types and all the settings that you can use to create optimized settings with these different types of batteries. We will post that link in the description of this video when that's available. For the TriStar MPPT, you can select optional internal daily log values that you can program using MSView, and then there's also communication settings that can be set in MSView also. There's low voltage disconnect, so load settings can be used with the TriStar, not with the TriStar MPPT or the TriStar in charging mode, but with the load control mode or with the SunSaver MPPT and other controllers which have load control. You can adjust the low voltage disconnect. There's also a time lighting on-off control that can be done with several controllers. In order to coordinate the charging with multiple controllers, you might also want to adjust that with the MSView. In particular, you might want to set one slightly higher or lower than the others. In addition, then the final is the relay driver, and making those adjustments too can be done with MSView. So one nice thing about our custom presets is that they can make some really nice plug-and-play solutions for OEMs, dealers, distributors. MSView software is free. It includes setup wizards for 6 different products currently, more to be added soon. Also, it's an easy to follow step-by-step process. There are simple and advanced setting options. Sometimes there's just a few settings to change. Sometimes you really want to kick in a lot of changes, and all that's possible. You can also program settings in a few minutes. It just takes a minute to, once you have the settings in there, to program one or more controllers at a time. And the nice thing is that once the settings are programmed into the controller, it acts as a permanent preset that basically is no different than any of the other presets in the controller, the factory presets, and then you have this custom preset that's basically plug and play, just like our factory presets. So MSView includes read and write options, so you can read from a file or read from a controller, and you can also write to a file, and so that means you can save any custom settings for a certain application or a certain battery. These can be loaded into MSView later and then quickly use to program as many controllers as you want. And then the read custom settings from a controller is another thing that once the customer has it and they want to adjust it, they can read from the controller, edit the settings, and program it again in a matter of minutes. And if they only want to change one thing, that makes it really easy. And that's easy to talk someone through over the phone or something. So that's a pretty simple thing. Once they have the custom program setting in the controller, it's very easy to adjust it. So here's a list of Morningstar products which have a setup wizard in MSView. There's the TriStar MPPT 600, TriStar MPPT, the regular TriStar, which is a PWM controller, and then coming soon will be the ProStar MPPT that should be available this fall in 2015. Then we also have a Sunsaver MPPT with settings adjustments with the setup wizard and the MSView, and then the ProStar Gen 3, that's going to be a third generation PWM ProStar controller, which should be available next year. That's going to be fully programmable. And then the Sunsaver Duo, and finally the relay driver. So now let's take a look at what settings you can change with MSView, starting with the charging settings. Now the voltage set points can be adjusted completely independent from each other for the absorption, float, and equalized voltages. It's important to note that in MSView, all the settings are programmed using 12 volt nominal. So if you have a 24 volt battery, it multiplies the voltage by 2, and it will show that in the column for 24 volts. And if you're programming it for 48, you would still program it for 12 volts, and it would just automatically multiply by the 12 volt nominal setting. So every setting you make has to be done in 12 volt or the multiple of the voltage that you want to set it for. So for example, if you're programming it for 36 volt batteries, you would take a multiple of 36. If you're programming it with the 48 volt multiplier of 4, you would set it up with 9 volt nominal to get the 36 volts. 4 times 9 is the 36 volt setting. Absorption and equalized stage regulation periods in minutes and hours can be extended or shortened. So that means extend the time that the regulation occurs for the absorption and equalized states. The float and equalized stages can be eliminated completely if they are not required, and other settings can be adjusted as well. Float timeouts would be an example that you can drop out of float if you cannot maintain the float voltage. Float cancel would be if the battery voltage gets very, very low, you can go through a full day of charging to recover the batteries to a full state of charge. And then there's other settings as well. And then temperature compensation can be adjusted even. This would be good for different types of batteries, possibly, and you can even adjust the range of temperatures. So the other thing is you can cancel it, and that would be something that might be useful if it's not required by certain types of batteries. One note on that is that if you don't use the remote temperature sensor with the TriStar family, there will be no temperature compensation anyway, so that's another way to eliminate the temperature compensation. And finally, the LEDs that show the state of charge with the red, yellow, and green LEDs. You can adjust those, so different batteries might need different voltages. That would make sense for that. And moving on to the other programmable settings, this would include communication settings. The optional internally logged data for the TriStar MPPT will show how that's done and all the options for that. Some of them can be really handy to enable. This will be included in the TriStar MPPT Setup Wizard video, which will be coming soon. And then you're also looking at meter bus and Modbus addresses. When there are multiple devices on a network, each one has to have its own identifier. In some cases, you can also give the controller a name. The TriStar MPPT controllers with the built-in Ethernet also have the ability to set the IP address to a dynamic or fixed address. The HTTP port and Modbus TCP ports can also be set, so you can change those ports. They enable Ethernet power saving mode, or Ethernet bridging is also settable, and you can set up to 4 SMTP notifications for email notifications and text notifications. So the lighting adjustments that you can make are 2 to 4, depending on the controller, on-off periods per day. This can include before and after sunrise and sunset, or before and after solar noon and solar midnight. That would not be for the TriStar, but for the Sunsaver MPPT and the upcoming ProStar MPPT will have solar noon and solar midnight lighting adjustments. That's halfway between dawn and dusk. And it determines these timings based on the voltage to determine sunrise and sunset, and then halfway between the two is solar noon and solar midnight. And then the determination on voltage is based on irradiance threshold adjustments. The Sunsaver MPPT, TriStar, and the new ProStar and ProStar MPPT will have lighting adjustments available. So here's the settings for the relay driver. Just wanted to show these very quickly. We're not going to talk really about this on this presentation, but we will have a presentation for the relay driver, and the video will be posted when we have that available. But this generally goes over the settings for the 4 channels of the relay driver. So to summarize, in this video I gave an overview of custom settings options with Morningstar controllers. I talked about how charging adjustments can be made for optimized solutions with lead acid batteries, special nominal voltages, or with other types of batteries. We also looked at communications options, load and lighting setup, and relay driver adjustments that can be made. We looked at how OEMs, dealers, and installers can use these for added value plug-and-play solutions, as well as explained how end users and do-it-yourselfers can do custom programming to help meet their individual needs. There are MSView setup wizards for 6 products currently, and for more new products in the future. We will be adding more MSView videos soon, including an example using the setup wizard for the TriStar MPPT and the relay driver. You may also be interested in our other videos that we have posted on our YouTube channel, including the Sunsaver MPPT lighting control webinar that we gave in 2012. I want to thank you for watching this video, and here are the links shown again from the beginning, which we have posted on the YouTube description. I also wanted to point out that the TriStar MPPT setup wizard info is part of the MSView Help Topics menu. There are similar topics for other MSView features, as well as setup wizard details for other products in the Help Topics in MSView. If you want to get started with the MSView Wizard configuration tool, you can download MSView from our website on the link shown here at the bottom, or from the Products tab on the Morningstar website.